I forgot. That was the version without anyone talking. No intro. Hey, when you switch things up, that's what happens. But I let you have the drum part. I let you have that before I start talking. Just remember last time you were on, it was Barker. I always talk over it.
You even got the sticks out. You're like,
oh, I stick to that.
I was excited for a second.
I put the sticks to it, son. Put the sticks to it. Welcome to the Back Row Fantasy Show. It's Bark. To my left is Arms.
Good morning.
To my right is Knit.
Thanks for introducing us since you didn't play the correct intro.
Hey, thanks for coming to this episode.
Cool. Oh.
Leaving me with Arms at 5:30 a.m. in the morning on the last one.
All jokes aside, at
come on
5:20, he's like, "Hey, if Knit doesn't come, I think I'm going to go back to bed." I'm like, "Did you read the text last night?
Yeah,
that said he's probably not going to be here because he's not going to be here."
Yeah,
when I say probably, it's almost 100%. Like my probably is almost affirmative.
I've learned that.
Yeah.
Today when you said probably, I was encouraged. I was like, Nitto's coming.
Yeah, but my possibly is probably won't make it.
Okay, possibly and probably. They're very close in terms, but
are you going to be here? Possibly. Don't bank on me being here.
Okay.
All right.
Before we get too much farther, here's what you're going to hear about on the Back Row Fantasy Show today. We're going to talk about some Week 12 plays of the week. We're going to talk about the barn burner of a game that happened Monday.
Thank you.
Between the Rams and the Chiefs, and we will focus some time on this one. And we are also going to talk about trade deadlines. Does your league have them? Does your league not have them? Where do we stand on trade deadlines? Because it is a hot topic right now. It is a hotter topic than walking into a dimly lit store, buying a reggae album and a choker chain. It's more hot topic.
I was wondering
than
where you were
topic.
going with that.
Oh, I agree. I mean, it's harder to be more hot topic than hot topic.
Absolutely.
But this is the hot topic.
Is hotter than hot
so,
topic.
I talked about that last week.
Hotter than justice.
I was so aggravated. Well, it was the last show, wasn't it?
No. I was here. You provoked the world, the fantasy football world, apparently.
Obviously, everyone heard me talk about it. Now it's a big thing. Trendsetter.
What'd you talk about?
He talked about trade deadlines or not.
Oh, yeah. Well,
just briefly.
I don't really think anyone's reading your Twitter account.
No. It wasn't my Twitter account. It was the show.
The show? Well,
it provoked Twitter.
We got about as many listeners as Gut Check. Let's be honest.
Oh, I know. I'm entirely giving myself credit that I don't deserve.
It's just us and Gut Check fighting through the back end, just trying to get somewhere, you know?
Just tumbleweeds.
Yeah, we are.
They still in the air?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Showtime.
I mean, they might pump out an episode here and there. Hey, if there's one thing you can say about the Back Row Fantasy Show is we're pretty consistent. We
consistently
put out
bad, but we are consistent.
We put out 2 a week on average.
Content.
Hey, I'll tell you what's inconsistent. Shameless plug. Anyone else? The podcast featuring just me, sometimes some other folks. I haven't put out an episode in a long time. I did one today. There's an anyone else out there. Talk a little Smashing Pumpkins new album, little Muse new album, and how freaking bad I hate holidays. So if you want to hear some cursing and holiday rants, go ahead and check that out. Shameless plug.
Another
back to the show.
Shameless plug. I'll never be on your anyone else. It's just
never.
It's vile.
You'll never be on that.
It's a vile show.
It's too rated R for you, Nick.
It's way too. I'm way too innocent for that show.
Same for Arms too. He's never been on it, and he never will. It's too rated R.
Yeah, I don't need that kind of controversy in my life.
It's just too gritty for everybody here.
Borderline. Okay. Yeah, it's borderline unrateable.
That's like one of your first episodes, isn't it?
What?
The gritty?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I listened to it.
Oh, you listened to it. Okay,
yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's it's vulgar.
It is.
It's very X-rated.
My bad.
But we digress.
Tangent.
Welcome to the Back Row Fantasy Show. I have dementia. No, never mind. We're back. Let's start with the Rams and Chiefs because you know what? I could do a whole episode just on the implications of that game. 105? Was it 105 combined points?
Yeah.
105. This was basically the Golden State Warriors.
Basically, it's Patrick Mahomes puts ketchup on steak, so he throws 3 interceptions.
And he turned the ball over
Two
so
of
many
them.
times.
2 of them don't really. I'm going to say the last 2 interceptions. You can't really count on him. I mean, it was under a minute 30 to go with no timeouts, 1 timeout. I mean,
Gusling it.
His hand was forced, especially on the last one. But his hand was forced on both of them, more or less.
Someone on
Got to
Twitter.
sling it.
He doesn't make those throws in the second quarter. We'll put it that
Someone
way.
on Twitter posted the playbook's out on beating the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Let him throw it wild for 57 minutes, and then in the last 3 minutes, his arm's going to be tired, and he'll throw it slightly under twice.
Yeah, you're not getting many opportunities against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. I think the only team that can beat them even when that happens is, well, not the only. The Rams prove they can do it.
The Saints can beat them.
I think so, too.
I mean, the Saints beat the Rams.
I'm really, I'm on the Saints train right now, to be honest. I'm on the 3-team train. Any of those teams can beat the other at any given time, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I think the Rams. If the Rams Saints play tomorrow at LA Coliseum, I think the Rams come out ahead. I mean, I think it just comes down to who has the ball last.
I believe it comes down to the experience of the quarterback for all 3 teams. Let's just look at the breakdown.
I don't know.
I
don't.
No, I mean, the more experienced quarterback makes a few less mistakes, and that's who's won each of the games.
I don't buy that.
See, I should have kept going with the 2 interception thing. Like
3 interceptions.
The last 2 interceptions not counting. I mean, Jared Goff put the ball on the ground twice.
So.
Yeah, they both put the ball on the ground from the pocket. They both threw interceptions in the middle of the game on unforced errors. I don't think either of them. It didn't come back down to quarterback play. My God, look at
I'm
the
not saying he
lines,
played bad. I'm just saying just a little bit more management. Maturity matters.
Well, here's where I'll go with your management. Comment there is I thought they should have managed the game better with the run game. It's hard to pick out complaints. First off, the most entertaining game I've watched ever. That was awesome. I watched every moment of it. It was exciting to the end. But at some point I was like, when are they going to run Todd Gurley? When are they going to run Kareem Hunt? Because when the Rams were going on their kill the clock, when they got the ball back off the second to last Mahomes interception, they threw the ball 3 times. Now, it was all like quick outs, tight ends and stuff, but one of them got knocked out. It's like, dude, you got the best running back in the league. Put it in his belly to get 10 yards on 3 carries.
That was the worst Todd Gurley game all season. Easy.
It's still all right.
I mean, it was still fine, but no touchdowns. Not close to 100 yards on the ground or in the air. Very un-Todd Gurley-like, if you ask me.
Barely got into the 90s in total yards. That's
tragic.
That's not Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley let you down with like 8.5 points or 9.5 points. Pathetic, Todd.
Todd Gurley usually...
You know what? Sit him this week.
You have to.
Okay. Todd Gurley usually lays you down as gently as a quarterback getting sacked. But this week, he's just like 1998. Boom!
I just think
tough acting to act.
I think
bam.
There's just too
Threw
much
you
of
on
a
the ground and
game.
kicked you.
Too much of a game. I'm sitting all these players. I'm sitting all of them this week. Every one of them week 12.
I would too. Luckily, I went into my
Because they have
Monday
a bye
night
week. It helps.
Luckily, I went into my my Monday night game needing with Todd Gurley needing some points to win. I had Jared Goff.
Me too.
I had Jared Goff and Tyreek Hill, and they exploded, man. Tyreek Hill's electric.
Oh, absolutely.
We knew that already, but like the catch he made late in the game where it got tipped right into his hands on the sideline, still controls the football, gets a foot down twice, but like was able to make a move inside the hash. I mean, the guy's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The one thing, if you have a knock on him, returning punts from the 2-yard line is kind of a no-no, but hey, it's Tyreek Hill. He's brilliant. He can do anything.
I mean,
what about
he can make 3 guys miss in a phone booth. Like, I'll trust his judgment.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to take away from Tyreek. How about Chris Conley?
that was a heck of a catch in the end zone, and he just plays second fiddle so well.
Sammy Watkins was
About to say it.
in the game.
He's overtaken Sammy Watkins.
You think so?
I think so. Chris Conley?
Yeah.
He had 7
Absolutely.
receptions. I mean,
I know, but the way you said that, you mean rest of season.
Yeah, I think Chris Conley is a reliable target within that offense.
We've
within
never been big
that
Sammy guys. I'm not trying to say that's crazy. I'm just you took me aback.
No, I mean
Took me off guard.
no. You had nearly 500 yards of passing for the Chiefs. You know, You're not going to get 7 receptions, 75 yards week in, week out with Chris Conley. You're definitely not going to get the 2 touchdowns. But can you get 4 and 60? Can you get a 10-point game every week? I think you can with Chris Conley. If you're in a deeper league needing a wide receiver, absolutely go get a Chris Conley off the waiver wire for a push.
For a what?
A playoff push.
Okay, a push.
I mean, he does have 4 touchdowns already on the year. I liked him because I never liked
Curtis Samuel numbers right there.
That is. I liked him in the offseason because I just never did believe in Sammy Watkins. I mean, I know he left the game early or played limitedly in this game, but you know, I just like the size of Chris Conley. He's a little bit bigger receiver, one of those, you know, out body someone type guys, and I think, especially as Pat Mahomes over the years, next year, you know, especially builds more rapport with him, it's a different large outlet not named Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
The third down touchdown catch he had where he plucked it out of the air in the middle of traffic, right on a laser thrown in there from 7 yards away was just awesome. I mean, he got his hands up last second, plucked it out of the air, taken down. I like Chris Conley's ability moving forward. He'll play a very Sterling Shepard role within this offense. Be a fantasy
that's valuable.
Yeah, fantasy football resource.
Yeah.
For someone needing a wide receiver.
I like it.
Now on the other side, Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
Josh Reynolds,
not only Reynolds, Goff is just legit, but Josh Reynolds.
I love Josh Reynolds, and a player like him. I mean, obviously he doesn't play the same game as like a Brandon Cooks, but you're not getting rid of Cooper Kupp. You know, he's got, I guess, more of a similar role of a Robert Woods, but that kind of makes one of those receivers possibly expendable instead of having to pay him.
Wouldn't go that far yet.
No, I'm just saying instead of one of them wants a big contract next year,
off-season wise.
Yeah,
listen,
it's a business.
I understand that, but if you look at most teams throughout the league, and I'm just thinking of ones off the top of my head, Geronimo Allison, one of our preseason sleepers, hurt. Other players thrust into action. Miami, receivers hurt and out. Oakland, receivers hurt and out.
Are they still a professional football team?
Yeah, but literally, just about every team in the league, Will Fuller, Texans, one of their receivers are bound to miss some games every year. So if you're the Rams, Cooks, Kupp, Woods, Josh Reynolds, no one's expendable to me.
I mean, they do have 2 guys on rookie contracts, so that's a big benefit.
I get that, but I mean,
they talking about Josh Reynolds.
Reynolds is still cheap.
Yeah, they extended Brandon Cooks. Robert Woods is kind of on the tail end of his veteran contract. So I mean, I think you have to bring back a Robert Woods. He's too cheap
if he
to let
tries,
go.
If someone offers him more money, I just don't see the Rams wanting to match it.
I get that.
You got to remember, the Rams are masterful with the salary cap. Masterful. Look at their super team they've assembled now. Is there teams that can beat them? Yes, but their roster on paper and what they're paying players, they have it down to a science. It's a work of art the way they have squeezed the salary cap to adjust to all their needs.
You have a lot of benefit of having Jared Goff on a rookie contract. You've got Cooper Kupp on a rookie contract.
You also got Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald and Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters and Todd Gurley, and the list just goes on and on and on about players that they're paying fairly. They've just figured it out. They can make Robert Woods work.
Possibly, yes. I'm just saying if he goes out and tests the market, it's a possibility that he goes. That's my point.
It is. Oh, yeah. It's definitely a possibility.
Why pay? If someone else is saying, "Hey, Robert, you come here and we're going to pay you as our number 1 receiver," yeah, okay. Oakland wants to pay him as number 1 receiver. Okay, see ya. Now I don't think he's number 1 receiver. I don't think he's number 1 receiver. But we've seen this happen before, where someone is a star as the number 2 or number 3, really, even on this team. He's going to garner a large contract somewhere.
Named Garner.
Thank you.
That team has a lot going for them.
I agree.
I don't know how many players on that team are going to be selfish enough to want to walk away for the money, considering that this could be a dynasty.
Thank you.
And that could be the Robert Woods mentality. He did come from a god-awful Buffalo team.
He's just happy.
Now he's happy winning. That's a possibility, too. You're right.
Yeah. It's literally like going from this year's Cavs to this year's Raptors.
And what Sean McVay brings to that organization, I mean, the dude is just like magnetic. Like, I mean,
Magneto.
He's magnetic.
He
I'm
just
not
raises
going.
his arms and his players do what he needs them to
No, I mean, he ran down to the sidelines, broke up a fight last week, I think it was, with Aaron Donald, and is like in his face, like, no, you're smarter than that. Be the better guy. Get back out there and play.
He can control an Ndamukong Suh. He can control an Aaron Donald. Like his personality type attracts people to him, and that's why I think they're not going to have a problem keeping people around. Jared Goff will take a hometown discount when it comes time. Like that dude loves Sean McVay. Like
He should.
Why risk your career
right?
over a little bit of money?
Do you want to end up with Jeff Fisher again? I mean, it won't be Jeff Fisher, but do you want to end up in that situation? No, you want to be around Sean McVay. Like they just this has dynasty. I'll go ahead and say it. This has dynasty, at least consistent winning, consistent regular season domination written all over, at least for 5-6 years.
And I mean, even if they don't make it this year, so let's just say in theory that the Saints do.
They get upset.
How many years do the Saints have Drew Brees left? You know what I mean? Because then that becomes NFC is between the Rams and the Bears. You know, in theory going forward. It's
and the
Rams,
Bears are a mile behind the Rams too.
I agree 100%.
And that's just supporting what you're saying. Like the Rams have a chance to be a dynasty, man.
Absolutely.
Dude. That was an exciting game.
Dynasty.
Just back to that game in general. God.
Great game.
Bang, bang, back and forth all game long.
Oh, look, you just reminded me of some Cactus Jack. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
And talk about the defense for a minute. Dude, the defense, 54-51, but the defense has made plays. What was it? The Rams put up 21 points defensively? That's insane.
Ezekiel Abukum, is that his name?
Samson.
Two Samson, yeah.
Abukum.
Ask Jason Witten. He'll have like a 3-minute.
Yeah.
Echikibuki? Witten was struggling on that name.
Couple, 2 touchdowns. When's the last time you remember?
Witten's my
An
boy.
outside linebacker.
Defensive- yeah, an outside linebacker, especially getting 2, not 1, but 2 touchdowns.
Maybe never. I don't know.
It's
honestly-
happened.
I'm sure it's happened.
It's
I mean,
happened.
but it was strip sacks that they recovered in the end zone.
Khalil Mack was an outside linebacker.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got 2 touchdowns somewhere along the
But dude, he mowed Patrick Mahomes over on the second one. Like Mahomes was like, "You're not getting this end zone." He's like, "Dude, get out of my way."
Yeah.
Just I'm gonna fall over you now.
Patty
See ya.
Ice is just like, oh no!
Oh no! I ain't letting you in this red zone, man.
I know, I sound more like Cartman than
You
Patrick
d- no,
Mahomes, but-
I
it's
tried.
close.
Comes up on stuff.
Man, Pat Mahomes.
Did you catch his voice a little bit, like calling in plays in the huddle?
Yeah,
I mean, dude,
yeah.
it's humorous. That's
Little
all.
froggy.
I'm not gonna.
Dude,
I'm sure my voice sounds horrible.
as it looks, though, it felt like
We're not here for voices. We're here for looks. We're here for
yeah.
YouTube. That's why we went YouTube. I mean,
Yeah.
the reviews are glowing since we put our faces on the
They're
air.
like, oh gosh, now I can't even listen to you without throwing up my mouth.
Right.
I'm putting faces to voices, and it's just that much worse.
God awful. Let's talk some starts of the week so we can talk some trade deadline. Do we like it? Do we hate it? You know what? Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. I
Happy
hate the
Thanksgiving.
holidays. I'm not going to
This
lie.
is my favorite one, though.
Yeah, because we get to eat and
It's not even about that. Like, to me, Christmas is, there's a lot of ungrateful people about it.
consumer holiday.
That frustrates me. So you get all the love and the camaraderie of your family for Thanksgiving without someone being disappointed because they didn't get the right shirt, or your grandma, she really thought that sweatshirt, not a hoodie, that sweatshirt you would really like.
But it's knitted.
It's like
Knitted?
Knitted?
I've seen people, and I've just been around it before,
I
to where they're like,
appreciate a knitted shirt.
I don't like that. I'm going to regift this someone. I'm like, man, just be appreciative of what you get.
Right.
That's the reason I like Thanksgiving better. It is my favorite.
That
Presents
said,
just
Christmas.
suck.
I when I get that gift, I'm like, man, oh sweet, they left the UPC on this. Sweet.
Oh man. Well, I can't complain.
Return it to Walmart. They'll take back anything.
I know.
I literally get like 2 gifts for Christmas. Like me and my wife don't buy for each other. Like we just don't do that stuff. We don't do
Loving.
Valentine's Day or anything. I'm
How romantic.
I'm living the dream.
Romanticism.
But when I do get presents, it's gift cards, and it's usually Amazon. And it's just That's
that
the
explains
same as,
all of your boxes of cords. You're like, I just
Yeah.
buy boxes of cords on Amazon.
I'm a big fan of cords. You
Cords
know,
and things with buttons.
if life ever gets too tough, I've got a box of cords to hang from.
Terrible. That's dark. That's dark.
Morbid. No, life's good. I love life. So let's talk starts of the week. One of you fellas want to go first on
Neto, I'll let you go first.
Dude, I'm going to stay on the Baker Mayfield train. I mean, at Cincinnati's defense is horrendous.
It
like
is.
God, they
proven
started
to
so
be
decent.
proven to be like a bottom 5 defense to me. Like this is not looking good. I understand the Saints. It
Thank
was
God
the
Hugh
Saints.
Jackson is back.
Yeah, I understand the Saints did it to him, but Baker's electric, man. He's coming along. He's progressing well. Did they sign Hugh Jackson just to like stop the Baker Mayfield train for week 1? They're going to fight. Nah,
I don't know.
I don't know. Get that, but not to get on that tangent. I just like the way Baker Mayfield is progressing. I like him going against a reeling Cincinnati, not only defense but offense. I mean, their offenses look
Yeah.
pathetic too. Luckily, the Bengals are 5-5, but I think Baker and the 3-6-1 Browns get it done on Sunday.
I think this is where the Browns go on a little run to end their season. I like the call. I love me some Baker, best rookie quarterback in the class.
I just wish he had more weapons around him. Like Nick Chubb's
Right.
becoming a rushing weapon. He needs another receiver with Jarvis Landry to be more consistent.
Or just to get something going with Jarvis Landry.
They need a second option and it's sad they don't have a reliable second option in the passing game other than Baker scrambling and someone randomly getting open. So that's the only knock on that offense.
I mean, the Bengals, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they start really, really solid on defense this year?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, right now they're like the 5th or 6th worst passing defense in the league.
trending
bad.
horribly.
Like, just went the wrong way. And like the past 5 weeks, they've just been god awful.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm with you on Baker. I think that's a good call. Man, I'm going a different direction though. Do you want a quarterback controversy in Baltimore? Because playing the
No.
Bengals in Oakland back-to-back weeks, that's how you get a quarterback controversy in Baltimore.
right.
Because you can make anybody look good against those two defenses. Lamar Jackson, if he gets a start again this week, it looks like it's going to happen. He's just going to light up the fantasy scoreboard this week. It's a bad Oakland team. They're going to be behind, and Lamar Jackson, he might not rush for 27 yards, but I don't doubt that he's going to have over 300 total yards between passing and running, and I don't doubt that he's going to get in the end zone a couple times, whether it's on the ground or in the air.
I'll give you credit. They made Nick Mullins look really well, really
Absolutely.
good. Oakland made Nick Mullins look good in his first NFL start. However, to be honest, I don't see that Lamar Jackson's where Nick Mullins is. I mean, in a professional career-wise, like Lamar has a lot of development. He's talent-wise 3 times the athlete, 3 times the quarterback that Nick Mullins will ever be. But Nick Mullins has learned how to be a professional backup, a professional quarterback. Lamar's got a little more development before I trust
But they're
him.
both rookies.
Trust him fantasy-wise.
They're both.
I'm gonna give you a cheap DFS. I'm gonna do what Arms did last week with
The DFS
with
plays.
sitting Ertz in DFS. I'm gonna tell you a DFS start. Ryan Tannehill. He's coming back. He's gonna be super cheap, playing against the Colts team that can be thrown on. I like me some Tannehill this week, just as a DFS play. For God's sakes, don't play him anywhere else. But DFS, cheap, against the Colts. The Colts are going to get up on him because Miami's not that good. And Ryan Tannehill's going to have to throw the ball. And I think that he has a really good game coming back to end any kind of like mini controversy that there might have been with Brock Osweiler, which is ridiculous. The real case of the Miami Dolphins are, please God, draft a quarterback next year. But I think Tannehill can be streamed in redraft leagues and added in DFS. He's my not so obvious pick of the week for me. I'll throw a not so obvious in there.
I like it. Flipping over running back, I'm just going to stay with my boys again. I'm going to go Phillip Lindsay for Denver, going up against the Steelers. Now that we talked about the Bengals
Throwing together a good season.
Yeah, we're talking about the Bengals trending backwards. The Steelers are becoming a better defensive unit. They're starting to get back to Steeler football. However, Denver's committed to Phillip Lindsay. I mean, he is the guy who provides the explosive plays for them, and he's getting more of the touches. I mean, he's out touching Freeman basically 3-2. He's getting a little bit more of the share, but he does a lot more with it, man. I mean, 11 carries, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns, scored from like 40 out, scored from inside the 5 also. So they're not taking him off the field in goal line packages, but they're also using him to be the home run hitter out of the backfield. Phillip Lindsay's just a consistent play. His only non-double-digit fantasy week was the week he got thrown out of the game for throwing punches. I mean, you can bank on 10 points. I know that ain't good, but his upside 16 to 20 points or a 26, 27-point game like last week. I mean, they're committed to him, and he also gets it done in the passing game.
I mean, it's not like the Steelers have the greatest rush defense this year.
No, but they do make it hard to run on them when they get up quick.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
you're
trending
right.
in the right direction.
But Lindsey catches the ball too.
This
So-
isn't too much. Yeah, this isn't too much against the Steelers. I'm kind of off of the play offensive players against the Steelers where I was in the early middle part of the season. Like I think the Steelers, I believe the Steelers defense is getting better, but also believe in the commitment to Phillip Lindsay and what he does with the rock in his hand. I mean, he's averaging He's averaging 5 yards a carry, which is phenomenal on the year. Almost 8 a carry last game. So,
Give me a running back, Arms.
Breida does great against terrible defenses, and there's not many worse than the Buccaneers.
Truth.
I mean, Buccaneers allowed more touchdowns on the ground than any other team in the league. See Matt Breida getting in the end zone. He may only have
ugly.
he may only have 50 or 60 yards on the ground. I actually figure he's going to have over 100, but he's definitely hitting pay dirt this week.
Nice. I like
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. That's what we got to do sometimes. Jalen Richard going with the Raider this week. The Ravens with a not explosive offense, but Lamar Jackson, he can run it on you, he can pass it on you. But I'm making this pick just based off the fact that the Raiders.
Jalen Richard?
Jalen Richard.
Jalen. Okay. No, I'm just making sure that's who you wanted to go with.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
100%.
No, I just, all right.
I'm calling me confused.
I'm sorry.
But anyways, the Raiders lost Brandon LaFell to an Achilles injury. They literally have no one. They have no one not to throw the ball to, not to get carries. So no matter which way this game goes, if the Raiders get lucky and get up on the Ravens, Jalen Richard's going to see some carries. If the Ravens build a lead, Jalen Richard's going to see some passes thrown his way. Jalen Richard right now is literally the only weapon this team has outside of Jared Cook. And it's going to show for the rest of the season. Jalen Richard, fine flex play the rest of the season, in my opinion. He's my pick of the week at running back.
All right. I was just, I don't know. I got off the Jalen Richard bandwagon. But, of course, I mean,
Doug Martin hasn't looked like the worst running back ever, since he's been starting. The concern is if it's a possibility that it's a close game, which I don't think it will be, but if it's a possibility it's a close game, they may try to grind some out with Doug Martin.
all right.
Either way, he's going to see. Jalen
He's
Richard
gonna
will
see
see
the
his
field.
touches.
Yeah.
I was just pumping you up to give me more information about Jalen Richard. My bad. I didn't mean to confuse you, color you confused.
Well, you had me thinking I said his name wrong. I'm like, pretty sure his name's always been Jalen Richard. But should I have said Jean-Luc Picard? I don't know.
I don't know. All right, my bad. I didn't mean to confuse you. I was just trying to comprehend.
Just
your
give me a wide receiver.
All right, I'll go guy that's hot, cold, based on the defensive matchup he gets. But the guy's a elite speed receiver, Marquise Goodwin, coming off the bye. He's been kind of hurt here and there over the last few weeks. He gets right in the bye week, playing against the Buccaneers. Hate to keep using the adjective horrendous, but that's what it is. I mean, it's just a terrible secondary for Tampa Bay. Throw the ball to Marquise Goodwin. If you get it into him on a quick screen, he can turn it into 25. He can also take the top off the defense. I think he's a guy who's going to get that 4-catch, 75 to 125 yards. I mean, getting the end zone, like he's that electric. He's my Jalen Richard.
Oh,
The Buccaneers defense have two bright spots, Justin Evans and Levante David. That's it.
Levante David's out.
Oh, okay. So that now they have one.
Yeah.
The occasional JPP sighting.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
He has his moments. He's been off this year, but I'm actually 100% with you. Marquise Goodwin's my start of the week this week as well.
Hot, cold. He's due for a
But
hot
he
game against a bad defense.
Feasts on bad defenses, and the susceptibility that Buccaneers defense to get beat on the deep ball. It's It's obvious. That's how they get beat every time is on deep ball. He's going to torch him, probably get in the end zone at least once, get over 100 yards.
He's a DFS play.
No doubt about it.
I think he's a definite DFS play. He's an aggressive dynasty standard league play, but it's still a good play. I mean, you could take him over some of our sits of the week, I'd say.
I'm going outside the box again. You guys, I'm just going to go outside the box the whole show. Lamar Jackson's came out and said that the Ravens will be throwing against Oakland.
All right.
I believe him.
Okay.
And if you,
Should be easy.
it should be. But if you think about the snaps that Lamar Jackson has gotten on the practice field when the Ravens are running 2 wide receiver sets, who does Lamar Jackson throw to on the other field? Willie Snead. That's who he's probably got the most rapport with. And I see Willie Snead having a pretty solid game this week.
Oh, I love you.
Pacing the Ravens in receptions and yards. I don't know if he'll get in the end zone or not, but receptions and yards, PPR leagues, Willie Snead's a great play this week, and that's a guy you traded for recently. That's why you love it.
I can
I
definitely
love
see him
Willie
getting
Snead.
double digits.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Because he has been all season. I mean, he's
Yeah.
just been a 10, 12-point guy all season. Somehow he goes for 5 and 50 every week. And
Minimum.
Last week, that's what he did with Lamar. That's what he is doing with Flacco. I mean, it's a good play. Willie Snead's been consistently mediocre, and that's not a bad thing.
Sounds bad.
Consistently mediocre
Sounds
on a
rough.
low-end DFS play. He's a guy that you can bank on getting points to fill out a roster in DFS. Someone on a bye week, we're late in the buys. But
And what an opportunity to blow up. Mm-hmm. I mean, against a god-awful Raiders defense.
Yep.
I mean, they're devoid of playmakers at this point.
Let's get our ends tight. Hit it tight, get it right. Tight end.
hit it tight, hit it right. I'm going to keep
tight,
playing. I
hit
mean,
it right, hit it
again,
tight.
I'm not going to go too deep on this, but I do like the Evan Ingram matchup against Philly. Philly's been just Philly looks like they're in like a reboot mode. I mean, not rebuild. They have the team obviously there. They're the defending Super Bowl, but they're in need of a reboot on defense.
Yeah.
I like what Evan Ingram has done since getting healthy, and I think it continues into a successful Week 12 against this Philly defense. I mean, not much else to say. He's been the safety blanket when healthy for Eli. Well,
Eli's looked better
and
of recent
better.
weeks. I mean, I don't know whether they've finally, got the right chemistry on that offensive line.
They decided to not throw the ball 14 times to Saquon Barkley and try to go downfield, which is open the ball, the underneath passing game back up for Evan Ingram. You don't have linebackers and safeties flushing him like just all over Evan Ingram. Like he's just a little more open in general.
Okay, I'll buy it.
Armsy.
Chris Herndon.
Ooh,
Chris Herndon.
I'm always game for a Herndon play.
Staying in New York.
In the past 5 weeks, I believe he had a bye in there, but he's still averaging 10.75 points per game. The New England Patriots are one of the bottom 5 defenses against tight end. Herndon's a solid play this week.
Good to hear that.
Yeah, no doubt. He's a solid play this week. I could see him getting into the top 5, especially against this defense that's just terrible against tight end.
God bless your heart. Listen, Eric Ebron, everyone's going to be tempted to sit him after his egg last week.
Egg.
You don't
Zero.
sit tight ends against Miami. You just don't do it. I know they've got 4 tight ends in Indianapolis, but Eric Ebron may not catch a ton of balls, but he's going to get back to his red zone loving ways, especially against a Miami Dolphins team that just simply doesn't like to cover the tight end. Jerome Baker, sideline to sideline rookie linebacker, has decided, I want to tackle people. Kiko Alonso decided at the beginning of the season, I want to tackle people. Nobody's covering these tight ends. Eric Ebron, end zone, bark bank, play him with confidence. Creaky chair.
You
gonna-
going to throw out some IDP, or do you want to hit over to the sits of the week?
Go ahead and hit up some IDP. So my start of the week linebacker is going to be Jordan Evans. So in an increased role recently, he's played quite well. He's actually the number 12 linebacker over the past 4 weeks.
Going way against you on this one.
Well, he had a rough week last week.
Arguable.
Okay. But he's facing a young Browns team that really, really, really wants to establish the run. I mean, they have committed to Nick Chubb basically being the workhorse of that team right now.
The bell cow.
Yeah, and he is, and rightfully so. So I think that that's going to be playing right in Jordan Evans' hands out of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Dude.
You got any?
I wouldn't have asked the question if I had some. I just
Okay.
would have given you some.
Preston Brown, put on injured reserve.
I was going to say, if you're playing him, he's on IR.
He's on IR. You say Jordan Evans. I say Hardy Nickerson. Hardy Nickerson had a big game with Preston Brown out last week, and me and Arms are just going 50-50 on this one. I
think we could both be right.
We could both be right, but I really like Hardy Nickerson this week. Last week had a great week. I picked him up off waivers. One of my only waiver guys that I actually won this week, thanks to Gus the Gummy Gator going for way more football dollars than Gus the Gummy Gator Edwards ever should.
52 on a $100 total season budget.
In the Gut Check League, every team has a budget of 1,000 football dollars. A lot of teams have not spent anything because rosters are too big. Gut Check spent $1,000 on Gus Edwards.
Oh my God.
$1,000.
100% of his cap, of his free agent budget.
I love you, David. It's no wonder you're not on the air anymore.
Oh, shots fired.
I'm just playing, man.
fired.
No, nobody's really caring in this league because free agents, there are none. So when one comes up, I bid 880. I bid 880. I'm with you, Dave and Gus. I'm with you.
All right. I'll give you one at the safety position. Not so much not so obvious anymore, but alert, Justin Reed's real good, and he's a really productive IDP safety. Thank you. 99% of the snap count. I don't know when he came off the field over the last few weeks. I don't know.
Did he need water? Are they not counting his special teams play?
I don't know, but he's on the field all the time. So there you go.
Let me tell you somebody that's been atrocious for fantasy this season in IDP leagues. And it makes me sad. Rashad Jones has been nothing short of average this season.
Who called it? I did.
Andrew Luck is one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. Rashad Jones is going to get plenty of tackle opportunities on the tight ends. Up the middle, Rashad coming from the safety spot to the middle of the field, meeting him. 10 tackle game for Rashad Jones this week.
Good Lord. That's season high then, right?
Likely.
All right.
I'll give you a little double hitter on the safeties. Sean Williams out of Cincinnati.
We've said his name every episode.
What?
Sean Williams?
Sean Williams.
He's had a lot of name drops.
I like it. I like Sean Williams, though. Say it.
I'm just saying, in the past 5 weeks, the low is 12 points.
You'll die at the hand of my sword.
And I'll hit you with another one who hasn't been great so far, but Clinton Dix in the past 4 weeks of
Love that one.
4 tackles, 5 tackles, 8 tackles, 11 tackles in consecutive weeks. He's just getting better as he's getting acclimated to that team.
I like that one a ton.
Bang. Bang, bang.
I do have either of you guys got D-line?
DeMonte Kazee, Atlanta. Drew Brees is clicking on all cylinders. DeMonte Kazee's going to have a big week at safety.
In the secondary.
He's a guy you're starting anyways. I just want to give him his props, especially against a team like the Saints. DeMonte Kazee's going to be big.
Gotcha.
Drop me that D line.
Marcus Golden. I'm throwing him out there. Tackle monster so far. I've said his name too much. He's Sean Williams at the defensive end position for me. Marcus Golden, if he's not getting you sacks, he's getting you tackles. Start him with confidence rest
I
of the
just
season.
really thought we talked about Jesse Bates a lot. I don't remember a lot of Sean Williams. It doesn't
There's
matter.
some Sean Williams.
D
It doesn't
line.
matter. Cam Hayward, back-to-back weeks with a sack, playing against Case Keenum, who just isn't that great. I mean, he holds onto the ball a little bit too long. That's the biggest knock with Case Keenum, why he's not that.
You like Case Keenum.
I do like him better
You love
than
him.
Marcus Mariota. I do like him better than Mariota.
That's what I was waiting
But
for.
he just holds onto the ball a little bit too long. That's why, he's got arm talent. That's just the reason why he's not one of the top quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, if you're really thin at defensive line, B.J. Hill's kind of come on in the last few weeks, giving you some more consistent play on the New York Giants line as a rookie, getting a little more snap count, staying in the rotation a little bit longer. He is going up against Winston, the Eagles, who's a magician at getting out of a lot of sack opportunities, but B.J. Hill's there.
And there ain't nothing
And he's
better
available.
than getting more Beej. So anyways, let's do some sits. Arm shakes his head. What? BJ, Beej. The Beej, baby.
B.J. Hill.
Let's go. Let's blow through some sits so we can talk about some trade deadline.
You want to start it?
Hey, I'll keep the rotation going. I'm kind of torn at quarterback this week. I'm going to stay in that Cincinnati-Cleveland matchup. I think not only is the Cincinnati Bengals defense reeling, That entire team's just off right now. Andy Dalton going up against a bad Browns defense, but I think the Browns are going to play inspired football. And
They want to win the Battle of Ohio.
Yeah, Andy Dalton's been borderline. You know, he's in and out of there. He's more of a bye week quarterback. Sitting him, Phillip Rivers against Arizona. You look at that matchup and go, man, San Diego's going to crush Arizona. However, it's going to be on the ground game. It's going to be a whole lot of Melvin Gordon. I think Phillip Rivers just has a pedestrian and a very average game. If you have someone better, play that quarterback. Phillip Rivers off my radar.
Phillip Rivers is my sit as well. They're going to win, and they're going to win going away, but it's going to be on the back of Melvin Gordon.
I like it. I'm going to go with Deshaun Watson this week. This is a bounce-back game for the Titans, in my opinion. Not so much on offense, defensive effort. I think they're going to give Deshaun Watson some problems.
I can't find Deshaun Watson on the
Whitson.
the docket.
Demarius Thomas has disappeared. Kiki's back though. Kiki, do you love DT? He says no.
DT. He does.
Deshaun Watson, I think, is a guy that you can pass on this week. There's a lot of good matchups in the league this week, quarterback-wise, and Deshaun Watson is my guy.
Especially in DFS. I mean, just not a great match. I mean, the Titans' defense is just better than expected. They're deceptively good despite their record.
It's a good unit. Good unit.
Sit a running back for me, Nick.
All right, this one's going to be kind of an aggressive sit, but I got my reasoning, and I'm going to stay on the salty Bengals bandwagon. I'm going to sit Joe Mixon this week. Again,
I love that.
The Browns are playing inspired football. You said they're going to go on a run. I don't think it's a bad defense altogether. They have a good line. And last week against the Ravens, Joe Mixon had 14 yards rushing. He did get in the end zone in that 14 yards.
Only thing that saved him.
You take him out of there, and he was just bad. 12 rushes, 14 yards. I don't think the Bengals are going to have a good day whatsoever on a cold day at home. I'm just staying away from all Bengals at this point. It's a little saltiness with that squad, but if you got a better play, I'm not playing Joe Mixon in DFS, and I'd stay away from him if you're fortunate to have a better running back.
He's been a tad disappointing. It's an improvement over his rookie year, but there is some disappointment there.
I mean, he's a solid running back, but not a great running back.
Right. He hasn't taken it to elite levels like we were hoping.
Correct. My sit, also aggressive based on the most recent body of work that he's put together. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has been real solid the last few weeks. However, that Vikings defense has only allowed 2 rushing touchdowns so far this year. I mean, they're nothing to just sneeze at, guys. It's a real solid defense. I think Jones will put okay stats up, but odds are if you have Aaron Jones, he was not your number 1 or number 2 running back.
So you probably have another option.
Exactly. You've got a better option most likely on your team, and I'm just staying away from the number 2 rushing defense in the league this week.
I like that call as well. I'm going to go with Adrian Peterson this week as a guy that I think you should absolutely sit, and my reasoning is off the wall, son. He reportedly came out and told a Bleacher Report reporter that he still likes to whip his kid with that leather belt. Let me tell you what's going to happen. I don't want to talk about the politics of it because I don't care. But I think the Cowboys are going to come out and they're going to have that little bit of extra incentive to shut Adrian Peterson down. That's ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous, but I think they're going to shut him down, and I think you're going to hear some trash talk. If anybody's mic'd up, don't be surprised if you hear, like, who's getting whooped now, Adrian?
I mean,
who's getting a whooping now?
I don't see Leighton Vander Esch saying that.
Woo! Leighton Vander Esch straight out of Des Moines. Not Des Moines. Where's Dan Cummins from?
Coeur d'Alene.
Coeur d'Alene. Yeah, there we go.
Great linebacking core for Dallas. All right. Ball control for Dallas with Zeke.
Ball control.
Colt McCoy is starting at quarterback for the Washington Redskins.
Disaster written all over.
I mean, you might see a 9-man front.
They're going to tee off on the Washington rushing attack. I mean, it's beat me through the air, Colt. Beat me through the air.
Go ahead. We'll wait.
Beat me like Adrian beat. All right, I won't go there. Ready for me to change the subject?
Give me some wide receiver.
Absolutely.
Please give me some wide receiver.
All right, I'm going to build off of me and Arms' sit at quarterback of Phillip Rivers. I'm going to kind of stay away from Keenan Allen. Is he going to be involved?
Is this back-to-back weeks for you staying away from Keenan Allen?
Yeah,
Or
I
did
don't know.
Barker stay away from last week?
I'm not sure. Well, whoever said it. If I said it, I was wrong. But this week, I'm going to double down if I said it. The Cardinals are really good in the secondary and horrendous against the run. I mean, that's a formula to run Melvin Gordon. Keenan Allen, I think, just has a pedestrian day. Don't bank on him being a big DFS play. You got to play him in your dynasty leagues, but you better hope you're getting production somewhere else. I'm just saying the game plan is going to go through Melvin Gordon. Everyone on the planet knows that for Sunday.
But they're not going to be able to stop it.
They're not going to be able to stop
They could put 11-man box. They're not stopping it. It doesn't matter.
They might throw the ball to Keenan against that.
Possibly.
Wide receiver arms.
But what's the point? Wide receiver is one of my favorite players in the NFL, Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey, after basically his first 4 games, he was real solid. After that, hasn't broke 50 yards.
Sit him.
The Giants have been surprisingly effective against the pass, mostly because you can run on them. But they've only allowed, I think, 7 passing touchdowns so far to wide receivers this year. So that just bodes poorly for Alshon Jeffrey. And, of course, factor in a little bit of Golden Tate. Obviously, Zach Ertz getting involved. I think Alshon's the one who gets covered the most.
He's going to draw the biggest.
Absolutely.
He's going to draw the best corner, draw double coverage when they're in big-time passing downs, things like that. Going to be a struggle for him. He's still going to get his 4 receptions for probably 50 yards, but, yeah, I agree with that.
I told you to sit Ebron, and, of course, that's going to cut into somebody's production. There's a very inconsistent receiver in Indianapolis named T.Y. Hilton who had a big game last week and has not been stringing together big games for a while. T.Y. Hilton, to me, is going to be deadlier to your team than Romaine Lettuce this week.
You know what's hilarious about T.Y. Hilton? So my brother, he's playing against T.Y. Hilton in the league. He doesn't know a lot about fantasy football. So he like calls me. He's like, what should my
Neither
draft
do
board,
I, but-
what should my draft board look like? And I'm like, all right, here's who your priority guys are in the mid rounds. Look for these guys because they might be on suspension, or, I see a path to playing time for this person. And he'll be like, this guy's got Ty Hilton this week. I'm like, what? I'm sorry, what? And he's like, Ty Hilton. I'm like, it's Ty. You don't call AJ Green Adge. He's got Adge Green this week. Of course, he's a Bengals fan, but it just cracks me up whenever people call him Ty Hilton.
I know. It's almost as ridiculous as people messing up that Chiefs receiver's name, T.Y.E. Hill. Old T.Y.E. Hill.
Yeah.
Mama T.I.
Was bumping.
I will toss in another one, and just from an inconsistency standpoint, Corey Davis, ups and downs. The Texans have only allowed 6 receiving touchdowns to wide receivers this year.
And the 7th won't be to Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to happen. Tight end, me, Nit.
Tight
Who are you
end.
sitting at tight end this week?
Jimmy Graham's been on a downward trend. 1 reception the last 2 weeks. Questionable to play anyway, even if he does. I think he's taking a back seat to the rest of the receiving core. And Aaron Jones. I mean, Aaron Jones establishing himself as a reliable running back option is taken away from some of the short dump passes to Jimmy Graham.
And Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I mean, I know he performed poorly last week, but overall, he's a decent red zone target as well, taken away from Jimmy Graham.
Right. I mean, they're just kind of moved along from Jimmy Graham being a focal point of the Green Bay passing attack. I think you can safely sit him and go into the free agent landscape of tight ends and grab just about anyone. Go get a Gerald Everett and let him blow up for you.
He's on bye.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, remember, I'm sitting
He might outscore
I'm
Jimmy
sitting
Graham.
all the Chiefs and the Rams this week for the first time ever.
This is not just my sit of the week. This is my sit of the rest of the season. It's time to give up on one of our favorite Christmas players, Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph. He's not done anything. Kirk Cousins doesn't have eyes for him. He's got eyes for some Diggs and Thielen. Sit Kyle Rudolph. Play anybody off the waiver wire. I don't even care who it is. Just Antonio Gates is doing better recently than Kyle Rudolph. Just sit Rudolph, rest the season.
You don't really need stats because you can see it on the field, but his stats are like, I mean, he's had 10 receptions over the last 4 games.
Terrible.
It's bad. It's bad. He's no longer a viable option.
Terrible. Let's talk.
Hey, what? Me?
Hey, you're done. Yeah.
My Sid is your guys' favorite tight end, Austin Hooper, mostly because he's trash, but also because the Saints have only allowed one touchdown to tight ends this year.
It's wavering on making him my start of the week, to be honest with you.
He's hot garbage.
He's so good. He's just so good.
Intermittently, like you're like
consistently good.
no, he's not.
Yes,
dude
he is.
Dude has a head the size of mine. Could you imagine my head in a football helmet? That's what Austin Hooper's looks like in a football. You can't even see out the sides of that thing. He's all smushed in there like a gusher wrapped in cellophane. But I like him this week. I think he's going to have a fine week. Let's talk some trade deadline. Our league of record, there is a trade deadline. It is week 10. Am I right? Week 10?
The start.
Oh, we got
start of week 10.
Hold on, we got to do sits on defense. You guys got any sits on
There's
defense?
no sits on defense.
Oh, I've got one.
Oh, dear God. Go ahead.
Good intro.
Thanks for killing that one,
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to give you a couple. It's
All right.
It's time to move on from Miles Jack. It's
Yeah.
an unmotivated Jaguars team. They have quit. Miles Jack's not even putting forth an effort anymore. He's been terrible the last few weeks. I'll sit Cameron Wake.
Conviction. I like the conviction there.
He's a great player. They're unmotivated. It's not Saxonville anymore. Sit Cameron Wake for Miami, despite being number 14 overall in the past 4 weeks at defensive line. Andrew Luck just never gets sacked, and DJ Swearinger just not that good with Clinton Ha Dix beside him. Clinton Ha Dix is just the better safety.
Sit Preston Brown rest of the season.
He's
Anyway,
on IR. Thank you.
Thanks for backing that up.
Good
Arms.
call.
All right, so trade deadlines. Our friend
The
over at
banter
Trade
kills me.
Addicts, Trade Addicts podcast, and another.
I'm guessing he doesn't want to do a trade deadline.
You're pretty, yeah. I mean, the title of the show goes hand in hand with that. But our other friend, Shane, over at Dynasty Headquarters, Dynasty HQ, also not a fan of the trade deadline. I was in this argument today. I am a fan of the trade deadline
You got to have it.
because I think that if you don't, the integrity of 10 games of the season could be interrupted by a terrible fire sale from an owner that's given up. And who gets the best players in fire sales? Playoff teams. I don't like the way that works out.
The fringe playoff teams, too. At
Yes.
that, you get a fringe playoff team.
Yeah.
Become the best team in the league.
I'll give you an example. I mean, even on my team. So I've got like Darius Geis. I've got some real solid, like top 15 linebackers. If right now I had an opportunity and I'm on that fringe, it's like, yeah, I'll trade some of these top flight linebackers for players who are still playing, or a Darius Geis for a player who's still playing is going to help me at wide receiver.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I did. We've talked about many times on the show. I traded first for DeMarcus Lawrence. Got me in a title game. I mean, it helped me get in the title game. And that's sometimes you got to be forced into. It's better to be forced into making those moves on a timeline than just sitting back and being like, I'll just wait till week 15 when somebody's just desperate to get some picks for the next season, and then I'll get players super friggin' cheap. Yes, every team in the league has the same opportunity, but I'm telling you right now, if you don't think there are friendships in your league that influence trade decisions, you're crazy.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I will guarantee that. I'm just going to say it. I had Travis Kelce trying to get Jarvis Landry. Equal trade. If anything, Travis Kelce is more premium at his position.
Agreed.
And somebody said, hey, I'll make that trade. And I'm like, all right, sweet, offered up. 2 days later, he comes back. He's like, dude, I would never make that trade. That's terrible. What? That is dead even. That is a dead even trade.
We're not
So you
talking
get the
values.
friendships, you get the friendships, you get the bonds, but
But I'm saying somebody is influencing because he verbally made the offer.
Somebody talked him out
and
of
was
it.
talked out of
Oh,
it.
yeah, that happened.
Because somebody
Yep.
said, why would you make that trade? Jarvis Landry is a top 5 wide receiver,
Yep.
and Travis Kelce is a top 3 tight end, and tight ends just aren't that valuable. Yeah, they are. He puts up wide receiver numbers.
And that leads to another thing. How many people in our league do we talk about trades with? I get messages from half of our league.
But it's the same half.
I don't think it's because I'm a fantasy expert, but I get messages from half the teams in the league. What do you think about this deal? And you know what? I could be a real shady dick and be like, I hate that for you. And then I could turn around and go to that team and be like, hey, this offer is better than that guy's offer. I mean, teams talk to each other about trades. Teams manipulate trade offers based off that. It's just a trade deadline it has to happen in my opinion.
I don't. I'm a man. I make decisions based on what I feel and what I think.
Not all men are like you, Nit.
I know.
They're not all created equal.
Clearly.
I can literally talk like a handful, probably 5 guys I know in 2 leagues. I can talk them right out of a deal. No, don't trade.
Or into
don't,
it?
Yeah, don't trade. For God's sakes, do not give Kerryon Johnson and a first for Todd Gurley. That's terrible. Kerryon's the next Barry Sanders.
I mean, but
I'm not going to do it.
seriously, so
Thank you.
people will start thinking that, and they're like,
do it straight
Kerryon is solid. He is just a rookie. You're right. I think he's going to have
He's
a great
young.
year.
He's so young.
Oh, this year is very comparable to Todd Gurley's rookie.
Gurley's been in the league a while now. Kerryon's just so young.
But do you need a trade deadline? Back to that.
Yes. Yes, back to that.
It makes it more realistic, if anything. To me, I
Yeah.
want a fantasy football season to be realistic.
Wish I had a point giver like ding, ding.
If anything, I want my fantasy to be a reality. I want to act like a GM, man. I want to be a GM.
There you go. I mean,
That's the reason we play Dynasty.
yes, absolutely. We had that contract league, and I loved it.
I did too.
It
It's
was-
just a lot of work.
It was so complicated that
Yeah.
that's what killed it. But I loved whenever someone had to cut somebody because they were too expensive every year.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm waiting on this guy. I'm going to sign him to a 1-year contract. All right, he sucks. I think next year he's going to be good. I'm going to sign him to another 1-year contract. And then all of a sudden, halfway through the year, he
Glory
starts taking
days.
off, and you're signing him to a 3-year contract that cost you 9 years. And it's like, oh.
Glory days. God, I miss that. I do. I miss the contract league, but man, it's hard to find a commissioner that put the time into it.
You had to get out pencil and paper, and
Yeah.
and you had to have a place to record it and everything else. Because that was a rolling list that the commissioner had to keep of where you were at on each
Back in
player and how many you got back when you
Right.
cut a guy. And yeah, it's just the pluses and minuses were always rough.
Brings up 2 words, fellas. Pro boards.
Pro boards.
You remember Pro Board?
Oh, yeah.
That's where we kept the contracts. Like your league link on My Fantasy League, you click it, takes you to Pro Boards. Free agent bidding, which is a pain. Blind bid
Still
waivers
fun.
are the best thing ever.
I do like the blind bidding.
Yeah, well, that's another thing that it's just like a trade deadline. Like the waivers that we used to run, it was like I bet $11 on somebody that should only cost $7, and then some jerks could be like, I'm gonna make him spend a little more. 12. That's strategy.
Did it all the
I
time.
It's strategy.
20,
I'm
and-
okay with it,
yeah.
but it's annoying as hell.
Or the worst part about it is whenever you bid, and then somebody waits until the very last second bids.
Oh,
And then,
24-hour period.
and then they wait till the very, very end just so you can't get that person on your team.
And time for the game.
And there you
Great strategy. It's strategy. It's what Nick was talking about last week with his like laying down one game to get his matchup better. But we digress a little bit. But yeah, trade deadline. Can you guys think of any reason to not have a trade deadline?
I was going to ask you whenever they presented the argument, or did they present an argument for not having one? Like, what's the reasoning there? Just other than like,
keep activity.
They must be in leagues. They must at least think, or maybe they are in leagues where I'm guessing these are 12 teamers. Because I don't think a lot of guys that are doing podcasts play 16 teamers like us. Correct us if we're wrong.
And we're not knocking you for doing a 12-teamer.
No, not at all.
But there's a lot of work put into a 16-team, especially IDP league.
In a 16-teamer, it is extremely hard to find 16 owners that make sound decisions on trades. So one of their arguments were, if a guy wants to do it, a guy wants, if a trade's agreed upon, a trade's agreed upon. One of those kind of groups that are like, we don't veto trades, never veto trades. And I'm kind of for never vetoing, but I don't like I just don't like trusting that everyone, if that's
Is
what
not
they
in-
wanted, that's what they wanted. Like, no, sometimes that's why we have a judicial system.
goes back to the
sometimes you have to
collusion. Yeah.
tell somebody you are so wrong
I
that
agree.
you are spending years away from your
it
family.
goes back to the collusion thing of friends helping friends and all that. It's integrity.
Yeah. Integrity.
I mean, how often do you see like somebody give up an IR player for a really good player and a first to help them right before the championship game? I mean, that's just
what? It's
What-
deflating.
Are you telling me that? So let's say that you had I can't even think of a running back who's on IR but in real solid. So let's say you had let's say Joe Mixon. Let's say you make it with Joe Mixon, okay? And you have Le'Veon Bell, all right? And you pair Joe Mixon with Le'Veon Bell to the Alvin Kamara owner who didn't make it because he only has one running back.
Jarek McKinnon on IR. I was dying to think of one.
But you pair those two guys together to someone who's got Alvin Kamara, which is a virtually untradeable player, but that's a hell of an offer for Alvin Kamara. And you make that offer, all of a sudden you went from having Joe Mixon as your starter in the championship game to Alvin Kamara as your starter.
It's an unknown. Like, to me, the other part of it, you're saying it keeps activity, not having a deadline. And if anything, a deadline increases activity at it. And it forces, if you're a playoff team and you feel like you have a weak spot in Joe Mixon, why not make that trade at the trade deadline?
Right.
You make your decision. You need to be forced into a decision.
I
the
agree.
sellers have to be sellers. The buyers have to determine if they're buyers. And anyone else needs to fill out where they're at. And that's what the trade deadline gives you. If you're just going to play it up to week 14, week 15 when the playoffs start, that's not a real league to me. I mean, it's just not. It's you're not playing realistic football.
Another great point. What's one of the most exciting days in our league? Trade deadline.
The week
The
leading
last
up,
hour.
16 teams on the league at once, fighting, vying for position, trying to make that last-minute deadline deal to catapult themselves into the wild card discussion or to lock up the division or to lock up a title. If you don't want that kind of excitement in your league, like, what is the fun of making a trade in week 16 and then
when you're out of it, you're not even playing.
And then the off season's the next day, and are you going to make more trades? No. I'll tell you what a trade deadline does. It gives you a nice gap for build-up. As soon as that offseason hits, everybody's ramped up and ready
Right
to
back
start
on.
offering again.
Yeah.
It makes the league more exciting. There, boom. Trade deadlines make your league more exciting. If you don't believe me, just try it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something kind of in relation to trade deadline. How do you feel about a 1 month or 2 month off season on a league?
I'm okay with it.
Like a dead period, cold
Yeah, the
period.
dead
yeah.
cold period.
Oh,
Like
you
a
got
no trade period, yeah. And we have one, right? It's
Yes.
like till the Super Bowl's over. There's no trading until I think it's till the Super Bowl's over.
I do it voluntarily. I'm not going to
too.
play fantasy football.
Walk away
year-round.
for a month.
Yeah. It's easy for me to walk away for a month. Like, I think you have to have it.
Yeah, it's a decompression time.
Yeah. Well,
mean,
there's got to be
Well,
some
for you,
build-up.
because it's always a depression time for you.
Yeah, that's true. Like right now. Right now it's kind of depressing
I've got
for you, isn't it?
I've got my championship.
I got the whole
just
world
not in the EFC.
in my hands. I got the whole world in my hands. I
done?
got his playoff chances in my hands.
He's
I'm
got
gonna
the-
smash.
He's got the whole world in his hands.
Oh, I love it. Got him by the
God.
The playoff hopes.
the playoff.
The playoff
hopes.
cojones. The playoff cojones. It was kind of gratifying that I possibly put you out.
It was not gratifying.
Kind of gratifying.
It's possible for me to get. I think the guy who's ahead of me on our division. I play this
Burns.
week. I think I play him this week or next, and I just need Snow Beast to lose out. He has to lose out because I've got the tiebreaker on him.
The worst 8-3 team I've ever seen in my life. Good
He's
God.
on what, a 3-game losing streak now?
Yeah.
No,
Can
he
we
wa-
also bring up the fact that he dropped Aaron Jones one last time for the season? This dude in our league dropped Aaron Jones.
Mid-season.
Mid-season. I hope you're listening, dude. And he kept bringing up the fact that we kind of like collectively voiced a veto. We don't have vetoes in our league, but we collectively voiced that Isaiah Crowell for the Green Bay Backs was just not good enough.
And for 3
A
weeks,
free agent. Isaiah Crowell.
and
this
so,
amongst
yes.
one of those buddy relationships in the league that we talked about earlier.
And for 3 weeks after, so when Isaiah Crowell got his hot start, like he's posting
Oh,
all
yeah.
over
He's
our league
posted all
page. He's
over.
like, "Yeah, suck it! I told you, Isaiah Crowell's the answer."
fair.
You didn't know he was playing in New York at the
Yeah.
time you made the trade.
That's
Right.
the problem. That's the problem.
Long-term Aaron Jones, much more value than Isaiah Crowell.
I'm a 35-point favorite over him this week.
I love it.
I'll find a way to lose
Hope you
that.
smack him in the mouth. I think I get a chance to do a scalping again this week against the Scalp Steelers, but I'll probably get beat. I'll probably lose out, to be honest, and it'll get me all down in the.
You
need
lose
you
out,
to
you
lose
still
one.
you still make the playoffs if you lose out.
Is there just one more?
I need you to lose one.
You need me to lose one.
If I
got your back,
If I
buddy.
win 2, you lose
I
1.
got your back.
I'm the number 1 seed.
I got your back. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play Nick Mullins this week.
Yes.
Actually, that's the truth. Patty Mahomes is on a bye, and Nick Mullins is the guy. So there you go. You might
Things are
you might
looking
get you a
up.
loss, but that's the only bye I got as quarterback. Rest of my team's intact.
You're
But
an
I'll-
80-point favorite.
Maybe
so
maybe I'll
you're
sit
gonna-
the Vikings receivers for David Moore and Richie James. I think I got for San Francisco.
Marcel Aitman.
Marcel Aitman. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Wrap it up.
Sometimes you got to be safe and wrap it up. Folks, we're going to wrap it up. Hopefully you enjoyed some trade deadline talk and this week's pre-game episode. Barks out.
Good night.
Peace.
You know, I actually need you to talk for another second because I missed the sounder.
I got the whole world in my hands.
You're not going to fucking flop this snow beast.
Wide world in my hands. Am I done? Done talking?
You're done.
Singing? Okay.
You won't flop the snow beast just because of who it is.
I might flop the. I don't know who I have. I got Neil. Like I can.
Not even coming through the headphones.
Yeah,
Peace out,
Neil's-
folks. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.